Creating a scatter plot. Let's do this problem as an example of using the calculator to create a scatter plot. The average salary of public school teachers are shown in a table for various years. Let S be the average salary in thousands of dollars and T at T years since 1980. So this is our table that's given to us, and they've identified our variable S, our output variable S, to be the average salary in thousands of years. So in 1985, the average salary was $25,000. At 2000, the average salary was $38,000. Now T is a year since 1980, so we wouldn't identify 1985 as T. Instead, we would probably need to come up with another column here and identify our T values. So 1985 since 1980 is 5 years, and 1980 to 1990 is 10 years. To 95 is 15 years. This is 20, and this is 24. So these are going to be your T values. Now with this pair, we actually get an ordered pair, and the first one would be 5, 25. And so if we were, and let's take the third one as an example, this would be 15, 37. So we can do this by hand by doing a Cartesian coordinate plot with x and y values, where your t would be your independent variable x and your s would be your dependent variable y. But like I said, let's use the calculator so that we can get used to using the calculator. So take out your TI-83 or 84. I have a TI-84 right here, and what we want to do is to first start creating a table. So we hit stat, and then the number 1 is edit, so let's hit number 1, and then we have lists given to us here. So for our first list, we have the T values being 5, 10, 15, 20, and 24. So let's punch that in. Once you have the T values, the first column done, that's your X values, you right arrow to the next column and then put in the values that are given here. That's 25, 28, 37, 38, and 34. So our last value is 44. Now we have the X and Y list in L1 and L2. The next step is to, let's clear our history here and take a look at what our next step is. The next step is to set up a nice window for this. Because the smallest value for X is 5 and the largest value is 24, let's go ahead and hit window. This is the default window, and it says X min and X max. So the smallest value for X was 5 and the largest was 44. So we want to have an X min and X max that would encompass this range of values. And since 0 is a very nice starting point, instead of 5 there, I'm going to start with 0. And instead of 24, I can end at 25 or maybe even 30. So X min and X max, let's go from 0 to 30. And the scale tells us what our jumps should be. And since this is jumping by 5s, I'm just going to select 5. Our Y values range from 25 to 44, so it might be good to go from 20 to 45, but it'll also be good to make a little bit of room, and maybe we can even start at 0 here since this is fairly close to 0, and then let our Y value, Y max, go all the way up to 50. And this time we'll take steps of 10. You can also take steps of 5 if you want, but 10 seems to make a little bit more sense here. And so that is our window setup. So once we have our window set up, the next step is to set this up as a graph. So let's go to scatterplot, second function, and scatterplot. Now if there are if the first one is on, it's okay, but if the other two are on, go ahead and press 4 to do plots off. But here we're just going to leave it as we're just going to turn on the first one. Everything else is off. So let's just go to the first one. So again, press 1 and go ahead and hit the enter button to have this turned on. The type, if you arrow down one time, the type is this scatter plot. This is a picture of a scatter plot. So let's select that. It's already selected, but if it's not, you would press enter, arrow down to the next choice. X list and Y list are L1 and L2. So if your lists are in somewhere else aside from L1 and L2, you can find the L1s and L2s by hitting second function and whatever number it's corresponding. So L1 is number 1, so we'll hit that. Same thing for Y list, and then now the mark. There's 3 possibilities. If you have no other plots, it would be good to select the box. That's usually the nicest visual for that. So if you press enter, and that would be selected, and then now hit graph, and here is your scatter plot. So let's summarize. We have our list that we got from stat and edit. We have our window setup that we created from window, and then we have the second function in stat plot to create the scatter plot. So this is how you would create a scatter plot.